Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to a show about all of life through a Christian worldview, a Christian grid. If you read the Bible, you'll learn that she's about ALL of life. All of life in light of God. And Christianity in the New Testament is about ALL, all of life in light of Jesus the Christ. So, glad to have you with me. Today, me and my friend Mark will be thinking aloud, trying to help believers sniff out propaganda. Yeah, we're in a series called Christians in the Matrix. Today will be about propaganda, so we'll talk about what is propaganda, what's it about, in what forms does it sidle up to us. We look over our shoulder and it's standing there right next to us. Propagandy. Hey, how does this show survive? Well, it thrives and survives because it's a listener-supported podcast. Folks, go to Patreon, Patreon, and they make a monthly pledge. Gold, frankincense, myrrh, $10, $20, $30. And as a team, those individual pledges add up to me paying for show expenses, things like equipment. I just had to purchase a new desk lamp. My old one shorted out altogether. I was working the other night and the light bulb just fell over. I pay for multiple online apps and subscriptions, electricity, guest honorariums, just to name a few of the things that are required to do this show. And I don't say it enough, but you guys, I send out goodies to my new Patreon patrons. Yeah, I send out things like coffee mugs, mouse pads, books that I myself have written and published, bumper stickers. Lately, I've been making the offer of a free ebook on the Crusades. I did a 15-part series, and I turned that into a 150-page plus book. And it's not just historical investigation or recounting. It includes theological analysis of both medieval Christianity and Islam. So prayerfully, will you prayerfully consider a Patreon, Patreon. Go to Patreon, make a pledge for the UU. I'll be grateful, truly. Welcome, everybody, to the Uncensored Unprofessor. I have with me my good friend Mark Cummings. Mark, welcome to the show again.
Thanks, Ed. Good to be here.
We're doing yet another episode in our Christians in the Matrix series. We're so alarmed and concerned and beleaguered and concerned that big chunks of the church are not, in fact, aware of what's going on and not, in fact, aware of how they've sort of being decimated from the inside out by values that are contrary to Christ. Mm-hmm. And because we have friends and family who we've watched leave their faith because of this, I think of dozens and dozens and dozens of students who have turned their back on the gospel or reconfigured the gospel so that it doesn't represent itself in any way, that we just decided we need to keep beating this drum to at least try to sound the alarm bells. So thanks. First, though, you guys, we want to talk about Venezuela because this is a pretty big event that just happened here the day after New Year's, and the United States military, in an amazing, however you look at it, went in and captured Maduro, the head of Venezuela. And I think it's important, again, Christianity's about everything, and what was going on there was affecting the world, and what has happened could affect the world. Yeah. And I guess one of my first concerns is what I don't want to see is Venezuela go into civil war.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what generals were sympathetic to the United States or what generals are going to say, hey, the United States doesn't tell us what to do, and who could lead the army or a significant contingent of the army to up to rise up and want to overthrow whomever or however. So my first concern is I just don't want to see Venezuela descend into some sort of chaos, because these things are never as simple as, oh, okay, the United States helped capture a dictator who was a narco-terrorist, and so now we're all going to live in freedom and happiness together. It just doesn't usually go that way in the annals of history.
Yeah. What I don't want is another Vietnam or protracted war from a distance, and we're going to fix things. We're going to spread, like Iraq, we're going to spread democracy, and everyone will be happy and good. And you look at the trail of countries that we've tried to affect, and regime change, and it didn't go that way most of the time. If you do a study in the history,
pretty rarely did it go the way we wanted. Maybe South Korea, maybe. Well, Germany and Japan, but for different reasons, right?
Yes.
We don't want to have to go through that to get there.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see. I don't want to see American troops on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think that somehow that's our new military front for Latin America, or with an eye. And I do believe that Iran and China were particularly deeply involved there. I mean, I was looking at some studies. Venezuela produces more oil than just about any country in the world, and certainly the most in Latin America.
Wow, one of the largest oil reserves.
So it is strategic, and I don't believe Trump had the military go in there for moral reasons. Right? I think at a generous read, it's the Monroe Doctrine. Don't come into our hemisphere and establish a base of operations to destabilize the United States. That's the generous read. I think probably the more honest political read, geopolitical read, is there's tremendous oil and rare earth minerals there.
Yes.
Venezuela produces more gold. I didn't know this. Venezuela produces more gold than all the African countries combined.
Wow.
So that's a motive to want to go in there and not let China or others have access to that market.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think China and or Russia, I can't remember which one, took out tons and tons of silver before we took it over.
Yeah.
So I think they assume our intent would be to partake of the resources. We're gonna phrase it in a different way. We're there to help that nation,
right?
But we have a way of helping ourselves to the resources in certain ways,
right? And that's where, if Venezuela were to turn and say, okay, we're gonna sever our contracts with China, and you can see the images of the Chinese ambassadors there the day before our military arrested him. They were making more deals together.
Yeah.
In the ideal world, Venezuela will go, okay, we're going to do business with the United States now, not China. But still, there's tentacles and ramifications and industries that are all woven through that.
Yeah.
That'll make it more difficult than just, okay, let's flip this switch and then move forward.
Yes. This could be a green light, too, for China to go for Taiwan. So you can just go over and take what you need to, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
And so we can both do that, can't we? And,
yeah. Wow, that wouldn't be a surprise now, would it?
No.
That's a great point.
It really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one wants to think that the United States now is going to become, this aggressor. So maybe we'll go into Cuba next. Or maybe we'll go into Iran next. I was looking on X today, and it looks like American troops are, if the X post is real, you never know until it's verified, headed to Israel for some undertaking, because Iran is in uprest anyway. They've been going on for a couple weeks without Trump's arrest, capture of Maduro.
Yes.
Right? So... Yeah, so I don't want to see the United States have a new foreign policy of we'll just invade people to get what we want. No one wants that. I saw another poll that showed United States citizens wanted by a majority wish Trump would have got approval from Congress first.
Yeah. I hope people will at least stand back and not just take in any war propaganda. I think the highest level of propaganda is war propaganda, rather than whether we call this a war or not. When there's conflict, you're going to get a much higher level of propaganda.
Right.
And this is the time for a case study when you just look and stand back and just say, keep your ears open, your eyes open here. If you're just saying America good, Venezuela bad, and we are there for altruistic reasons, everything's going to be fine. And we're like, no, let's keep our ears wide, eyes wide open, because it's very important to propagandize in conflicts like this. They're going to report certain things. You're going to hear on the news, you're going to see images of people celebrating. And I'm not saying that's phony.
Right.
And you're going to see talk on lives saved that are not going to be drug addicts because we're slowing down the narco-terrorism.
Right.
And that's all good, and I'm not questioning that. It's simply the nature of propaganda. It's to tell selectively one side of the story. Okay, what's the negative side of how people will view it, that we're going over there and just could take a president right out of a country and our Congress doesn't even declare war, and for whatever reasons we decide, I guess we've decided that it's terrorism or whatever.
Right.
But once we decide, hey, this guy's not nice to his people, we can remove him. Hey, this person's doing some drugs. I'm like, that's about half of the world right now. Everybody's saying, boy, he could come into mine justified any time.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's true. So we need to be measured. We need to be careful. We need to verify. I'm generally at first blush in favor of it. I've even in 2 days grown to believe I don't think this was about drugs, right? Because we knew he was blowing up those drug boats.
Yes.
And with my brother, we were laughing, thinking, who in Venezuela gets in a drug boat anymore?
Yeah.
Even if they say we'll pay you $1 million, who's getting in that boat when you know what's happening? But I really do think this has to be something more geopolitical, because drug dealing, I mean, all of the Middle East is involved in drug dealing. Afghanistan's the greatest producer of cocaine in the world. So it's got to be something larger. But man, we don't want China to go into Taiwan now. We don't want World War III to start.
Yeah.
So be praying for Venezuela, and be praying for calm heads. Be praying for the Lord's involvement in all of this. Because it just can go sideways in a lot of ways, and we know that because we've read history.
Yes.
These are never clean. They never go directly as the initial intent was rolled out. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, we've been in a unipolar world for, I don't know, 50 plus years after World War II. We were the head haunch, and I think it's moving in different directions now where it's multipolar. I pray that the U.S. recognize that and we adjust to that, because we have, in many ways, taken the dollar, which is the world reserve currency.
Right.
And if a country doesn't do what we want, we weaponize it against them and the SWIFT system.
Yeah.
And now it's the unintended consequences. People have slowly been developing the BRICS system and all sorts of other systems. And I think if we were ever surpassed, it may not be a superpower. It'll actually be a system of people fleeing and saying, wow, like Europe just seized $105 billion of Russia's assets.
Yeah.
And they're saying, wow, is it safe to keep our money there anymore? Is it safe if we've got dollars in the U.S. doesn't want to, we do something that we don't want to do because the U.S. said you've got to do this. And then they say, we're going to put sanctions on you and we're going to freeze your assets. People can be fleeing out of that to China, to Russia.
Yep.
And not just those two countries, multi-countries coordinating now saying, we got to watch our backs because if the U.S. doesn't like what we do and can seize assets, can sanction us, or weaponize the dollar against us, we got to have options.
Yeah.
And so some of that is moving toward a multipolar world. I pray that we don't simply respond as a bully and intimidate and say, hey, we need to make a case for people that, you know.
Yeah,
would
there's
question
lots
us.
of angles.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. One of the funny angles for me is to see protesters in big cities rolling out against Trump in favor of a dictator. So we just had a few
that's classic.
months of rallies, no kings rallies, even one here at Boise.
Yeah.
And now they're rolling out to stand up for a drug lord who was stripping his country of their own money, gold and oil. And now people are mad that it's truly TDS, right? Trump derangement syndrome. That's been a funny angle to watch.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was a little more close to home that I thought was weird, but it's not coming to me right now. There's so many moving pieces to it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's a crazy thing, and we're grateful that the Lord is sovereign, but he also lets nations go their way and he lets bad things happen. So
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, well, we'll be holding our breath and we'll keep an eye on it. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is one of the things that hit me on the day it happened is we're so used to leaders talking about things and talking about things and talking about things. It's weird to have a leader who does things.
Yeah.
And it's a positive, but it's a negative. We're not used to it, so change is unsettling. But it's just weird to have someone say, I warned you, so now you've crossed the line and now here's your comeuppance. That is just not the way things work normally around the planet.
No. Yeah. You just have disputes, investigations, everything goes on forever and nothing really occurs.
Don't get me going on politicians who did wickedness for whom there will never be in this side of time any comeuppance.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild and exciting. It's certainly not a boring time to be alive. My goodness.
No.
But that takes us to propaganda, and you touched on it earlier, the way that this story can get rolled out. One of the things that happens to Christians in the Matrix, and we've seen it over the last 5-6 years, is propaganda. Tanya and I were talking today about one of the tip-offs from me during COVID that let me know it was a lie was when they would put out that red sort of diabolical molecule-looking thing with the spiky tentacles that every time they talk about COVID, they would have that red hairball molecule that just looked sinister. And every time they put that on there, I started thinking, you know what? We're being had.
Yeah.
Because that was intentionally red. It was intentionally scary. It was used in every report of COVID.
Yeah.
You know? So propaganda is a massive way, more powerful now than when World War II was going on and we took turns flyer bombing each other's side of the battlefield with tracts and pamphlets, right? It's way more effective now because of media, and we live in a technological world, and people will believe what they see on first sight.
Yeah.
That propaganda is just something that we really want our listeners to be aware of.
Yeah. It's become so sophisticated now, and it's everywhere. Governments and their media realize how essential and powerful controlling the narrative is, and it's enormous. And it's always been that way, but there's another level at this point with AI and computers.
Yeah. When we find out that the Biden administration had gone to X, Twitter, and Facebook and Google and said, you will censure these people and you will give platform to these people, then we know propaganda is just a given now.
Given. Yeah,
it's just part of the
given.
It's part of the matrix we live in.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about ways to be aware of it, how it manifests itself. Maybe first, what is propaganda?
Yeah, I got a definition that I like. Managing perceptions and emotions on a mass scale to achieve a specific goal. So think of the term agenda. And of course, you'll be labeled a conspiracy theorist because real life is supposed to just happen organically and by chance. But in the real world, evil men conspire.
Yeah.
And so you will have conspiracies. And so it's toward a given end. Instead of simply, let's describe reality and truth as it goes, you're starting from the very beginning and saying, we will manage people's perceptions, and it's going to be for this end goal. And so it's not about truth. It's not about that. I summarize it and just say it's about herding sheeple. It's about herding sheeple.
Yeah.
And they've gotten very good at it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you have a population and really humanity, one of the costs of them being complacent and not caring enough about pursuing wisdom, truth, and discernment, they're easily herdable. You can herd them very easily.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of propaganda.
Yeah.
It's not just individuals. We're going to, on a mass scale, we're going to actually put them in a matrix that's not real, so they'll make decisions and approval and whatever according to the way we want the outcome.
And that was the thing during both COVID and the summer of George, as I referred to a Seinfeld episode where George gets fired from the Yankees, but it turns out he's going to be paid through the summer, and he finds all these ways to amuse himself during this last summer of freedom, of paid freedom. And we went through the summer of George, which was overlapping with COVID, and they would say, churches you may not gather, but rioters in the downtown streets of our city continue to gather and firebomb small businesses. Yeah. That's allowable.
Yes.
And you're going, okay. And that whole summer that I was doing that series on the cult of the now, I would say it's not that there are propagandizers who are doing this that bothers me. It's not that the government would do this. It's not that the media would do this. What stopped me cold that whole year, Mark, was that good-natured people that I thought were wise fell for it.
Yeah.
And they would repeat the memes and the mantras and the slogans to me, or they'd come on my page and they would try to meme shame me. And I would think, this is the thing that's stopping me cold.
Yeah.
Is that they really are, to your phrase, sheeple.
Sheeple, yeah.
They are so easily programmed. They probably weren't even down at a riot to feel that fervor and that shared rioting emotion. Yeah. They're on their computer or phone at home, and they're acting like total sheeple. Wow. They've hardly been propagandized at all, and they've swallowed it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Which says, if they're seeking truth, if they're studying the Word of God, and they're absolutely duped, what went wrong? What went wrong?
Yeah.
There's a type of truth and wisdom, and I'd call it discernment, that's not just knowledge. You're actually saying, I want to be street smart. I don't want to be conned. I don't want to be fooled, duped. No different than if somebody goes around with a get-rich-quick scheme and your friend totally fell for it, who's really bright. And you say, wow, how can we not let that happen again? Would it be that you pray? Yeah, but when I pray, I'd be praying, Lord, give me somebody that I know or can find that has the wisdom to show me the nature of things so that this doesn't happen again. Because I'm not street smart. And yes, I want all the truths of the Scripture as my foundation, but I've got to apply some of that.
Right.
Like, mankind is fallen and sinful. Maybe I should distrust some people,
Right.
without calling it cynicism.
Right.
So, yeah, and that's what concerns me when people were fooled on an enormous level. I've never seen it on that level before. Yeah.
No, it was truly disconcerting. And again, because, well, the immediate example is how many really good, smart students I had who I mentored, who spent time in my office, at my house, at coffee, who fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And who just followed whatever the meme of the day was saying, right?
Yeah.
Or who would come on my page and call me a racist, and you're like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
How could you be so easily played? It's like someone you mentioned, someone came to the door and they said, hey, what was that old cleaning product stuff you could get in the pyramid scheme? I've laughed at small group meetings, right?
Yeah.
If you just sign up now, you can get in on this cleaning company product with us, and we'll make a ton of money. And so you give them $1,000 or $5,000, and you never see it again.
Yeah.
And you're left looking like a monkey's uncle.
Yeah.
And you believed it wholeheartedly that if you got in early, you were going to get rich.
Yeah.
You're like, who is like that?
Yeah.
How can a Christian, particularly who has the mind of Christ, the Holy Spirit, the Scriptures, the church, the wisdom of 2,000, how can a Christian particularly fall for such a thing?
Yeah. I think it's very similar to, we homeschool our kids, so I'm not obviously against it, but there are some that literally bunker them rather than really train them, prepare them for the world, and they are indeed a hothouse plant in that regard, and fragile, gullible, naive. Our goal is wholesome but not naive. So we train them for the real world, but we brought it in the pace and the understanding that they could have. But you can have a Christian society that's like a bunkered child, and they're bunkering in great Bible studies, but then they get out in the world and they're totally conned.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be an awareness in saying, hey, this is the world system. The prince of lies, the father of lies rules down here. So get ready. How can we train? How can we develop discernment so that we're ready for it?
Yeah.
It's
like the church doesn't have enough street smarts.
Yeah.
Like they haven't been out on the street enough dealing with real personalities, people who will look them in the eye with a tear in their eye. If you just give me $50, all my problems would go away. We haven't been burned enough out on the street to know better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's go through some examples of propaganda. I'll do one, then you can do one.
Yeah. Okay.
One that I saw came up with is fire hose, where you fire hose people. You inundate your audience with the same phrase or the same news coverage over and over and over. And I remember that one. It particularly sticks out in my mind because it's a video clip. It only lasts like, I forget if it's 60 seconds or 90 seconds, but it's multiple local news, TV news stations all over America. That it starts with one local news person and it goes out to like 300, all saying the exact same thing. But what was amazing about it, it started with a news reporter here in Boise.
Really? Wow.
The very first one that they show you is a silver-haired guy from here in Boise, and they're saying the same thing all over the nation, saying it exactly word for word the same.
Wow.
That's a fire hose.
Wow. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you could go, I was thinking about this. You could say, well, it's because they're owned by the same syndication.
Yeah.
And so the syndicate writes their story for them. But that actually isn't an out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the syndication fire hosing a whole nation of news watchers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? This is a strategy. We'll just repeat the same thing, and we'll say it with such volume and frequency that people will finally believe it.
That's good.
Fire hosing.
That's good. Yeah, you heard the phrase safe and effective, and, slow down the curve, and you're hearing
Social distancing.
Yes. Yeah.
Slow down the curve.
Yeah, there's so much like that. And so, but you're hearing it in all sources coming together. So
Yeah.
it's saying this is coalescing. This is how systemic it is.
Right. Really, there's not one. If we brought all those people, of those 300 people together in a ballroom for a dinner,
yeah,
there would be certain personalities that would emerge.
yeah,
Comics and power mongers and servile types.
Yeah.
And they would say things differently about, if they all watched one monkey perform a trick, they would all report it differently.
you wouldn't say the same phrase.
But we're having this thing happen in society, and all 300 of them are saying it word for word the same.
and it sounds scripted. Yeah.
You're fire
It is.
hosed.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. Boy, that's a big one. One method, not giving all the facts, but selectively presenting them. So I like to ask questions outside the box. What are they not saying?
Yeah.
So one of the things, because that's very common. Here's the box of everything we've looked into. Well, you didn't look into these 5 things. Well, they're not mentioning them because they're a little bit sketchier in their narrative and explanation. And so ask questions outside the box. Most people, I always say, if a serial killer was presented to somebody and they asked them the question, it's lunchtime now and he's hungry, should he have a ham sandwich or roast beef? And people would debate which he should have. But the one wise person would say, I don't think this is relevant. This guy's evil. What should we be doing? But the masses were told what the box was to think in, and they obey it because they're sheeple.
Yeah.
Sheeple.
That's good.
Yeah, so ask questions outside the box.
On that point, I love that Nick Shirley, this looks like he's 25 years old, went into downtown Minneapolis. Either he had a videographer or his buddy was using a phone. I don't know how they recorded it. But he would roll up to Somali daycare center after Somali daycare center and ask where the kids were, right?
Yeah.
And then people got mad at him and called him a racist because he was asking for where are the kids. So you're reframing it. You're saying, actually, you shouldn't ask Somali daycare centers any questions. When he's asking the question, hey, you're a daycare center. Where are your kids?
Yeah.
It's the perfect example of the way we get propagandized. Mm-hmm. And then you have half the country angry that the fraud was exposed.
Yes.
Not angry that probably billions because they're going to find out this is billions of dollars deep.
Yeah.
Not that we're all paying taxes to billions of dollars that go right down into somebody's expensive Somali-owned car, but angry that Somalis got exposed for running daycares that were fraudulent.
Wow. Yeah. Which tells me they're true sheeple because they've been told you will get outraged here and you won't get outraged there.
Right. Selective outrage.
Selective outrage. Yeah. Definitely. Here's another one. Emphasizing only one way of looking at the facts. There's only one lens that you're allowed to look through.
Yeah.
COVID would be a classic example.
Yeah.
You are only allowed to look. There's 3 concepts in this whole thing that should be balanced. You've got safety.
Right.
Maybe it'll kill a lot of people. You've got people that actually care about liberty and freedom and their own decisions. And you've got the freedom to go and drive your car and go to work and actually provide food for your kids.
Right.
Never was anything discussed other than safety. That's all that was allowed.
Right.
That was the only lens put. And
Right.
people often don't see lenses. Can you imagine if that same principle was, I think let's say there's 4,000 people that die a year in auto accidents. Let's
Right.
just say. The government has just decided that you can't drive cars anymore. But the only decision allowed was you're saving lives.
Right.
Do you want to kill people or not?
Right.
And so the only lens allowed was safety.
Yeah.
And if you look at the whole COVID era, it was almost at a idol god level. Safety is the only issue that when you wake up, think safety, safety, safety.
Right.
And when you make decisions, safety, safety, safety. Don't kill grandma. And I'm like, wow, there's other angles for mature discussion.
Yeah, that's so good. There was
a lens given to you.
no discussion of what's this do to the market. No discussion what's this going to do to kids. No discussion what does this mean education for pedagogy. What is that?
Yeah.
What's it mean? What's this mean for families? What's this mean for depression? What's this mean for gatherings? No. Safety.
Safety. One lens
Safety.
allowed. One lens allowed.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness,
And
that's
people
a good
don't
one.
know. People can spot if they have stupid facts, but they often don't spot lenses. You can be. Have you ever had a friend where they just make dumb decisions, and some of it's just, and they're smart people, but the lens is wrong. The lens is just completely wrong. So that's a common one. You're given a lens, and that's how you have to stay out of the box and say, okay, what are they not saying? What am I not thinking? What box have they put me in
Right.
that my thinking has to stay contained in?
Right.
That? Yeah.
So we started out the show with Venezuela. If you're only thinking of Venezuela in terms of what's good for America,
Yeah.
you'll read that differently than if you say, hey, what will this do to geopolitical configurations? What will this do to entire markets? What will this do to triangulated global relationships?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually do care that 25,000 people won't die for every boat of fentanyl that was brought over.
Yeah.
But there's bigger stuff going on.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a horrible thing to say, but it is.
You know what's interesting, and it sounds so harsh and cruel, even though, let's say, 4,000 people will die this year in auto accidents, we have all agreed to still drive cars.
Right.
Isn't that unbelievably cruel?
Right.
Well, why? Because we have innately decided, as bad as that was, the alternative is worse, not to go to work and feed my kids.
Right.
There's a reason, and you could do that for everything. I think that you could have that for toasters. People stick their knives in the toasters to toast, get electrocuted. We got to get rid of toasters.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things if you only look at one lens, and that's the nature of propaganda. You look at one thing only.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Here's one, info blizzards.
Info blizzards.
This was one I saw at the college all the time. Like, I would be on a committee, we'd be asking for information from a certain administrator, and they'd give us 400 pages of something, right? So that whatever you were looking for, document 1, 2, QB3, would be buried down in those 400 pages. So you get an info blizzard. We just saw that with the Epstein file release, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, we're going to give you everything. And I think there were like 3,000 or more pages. I'm probably being conservative on that.
Yeah.
But it's all redacted. So they can go, well, we gave you everything you wanted. Yeah. And 95% of every page is blackened out.
Yeah.
So you haven't given. No, we gave you everything.
Yeah.
Info blizzards.
Info blizzard. I like that.
Just so much information you can't process it all.
That reminds me, I read an article one time, I really liked it, comparing the book 1984 to Brave New World. 1984, the dictatorship said, we will hide information from them. Brave New World, let's so overload them, they don't even know what's relevant and not.
Right.
You know, it's another...
It's
genius.
It's
another way of doing it.
It's wickedly genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
another
distracted.
example?
Presenting things as having only two options. Do you support big government or anarchy? Which one do you choose? You need to are there other options? Can we have like 5% big government? Can we have like Big Brother? Can we have limited government? No, it's big government or anarchy.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do?
Yeah.
So people are choosing those two. And a lot of times people like it simple. Oh, good, America good, Ukraine good, Russia bad. Okay, I got it. Let's keep it simple. I'm busy.
The other side of that coin, and it's the same thing as like a false moral equivalence. That nation has an army, and that other nation has an army. They're equally bad.
Yeah.
That nation shot a rocket, and that nation shot a rocket, so they're equally bad. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that is just everywhere. The false moral equivalency.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That nation chants for the death of a whole nation, but that nation over there is an imperialist nation, so they're equally bad. It's like, oh my goodness, what a beautifully simplistic way to look at reality. Yeah,
it is. I was on a couple of big cases. Well, one in particular, 5-month-long court case. It was fascinating because they had brilliant lawyers on this because it was a big one, and they had mastered the ability to so design things that when you took the information, it would arrive at what they wanted. But they didn't tell you what to think. They just gave you the lens of how to think. And when you applied the information, by golly, you arrived at their decision.
Yeah.
But you didn't know that you were given a lens on how to think.
Yeah.
And I think that's one crucial, important thing today is to be aware not just of what you think, how you think. Because when they're hurting the sheeple, they're giving you a lens on how to think. And then you will go ahead and you say, wow, I'm going to social distance and put masks on because, Jesus would.
Yeah. Here's one that I know everybody out there is aware of, but I can't believe how much I see it. AI deep fakes.
Oh, wow.
Where you'll have a politician or some famous person giving a speech that they never gave, or there'll be a face swap. Today I saw a funny one of Maduro in an orange prison jumpsuit dancing in the prison yard with other inmates.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they just put his face on someone's body.
And it was
right?
easy.
And it was easy.
Wow.
Yeah. Or celebrity ads or voice cloning. Joe Rogan says that one of the things that drives him crazy is how many ads he's selling that he never signed up to do. They are just taking his voice and using it at will because they can get away with it, although he's filed some lawsuits on it. But
wow.
So that AI stuff, and you and I are going to talk about AI here in one of these episodes, but AI is a super powerful way to get over on people.
Super powerful. I have a number of people. We all have people we say, okay, this guy's the real deal. I really like the way he shares things. It's a nuanced, mature, positive and negative weighing out of various things. And I don't trust anything that only tells you the positive. If they would say, well, we went to Venezuela and here's what we were trying to do. Here's could be some of the ramifications negatively. They'll never do that.
No.
But so I've got two people that are nuanced have depth and maturity, and it isn't just, you got to think this way. It's, here's the different angles here. Think about these. And there, two I respected, and guess who are, both of them right now are saying, I've got a ton of deep fakes now. Because the system said, oh my gosh, we got two really good bright ones. And, most people can't sort them out well enough. We overload them.
Yeah.
But these guys are just really concise, articulate.
People like them.
And radiate honesty.
Yeah.
What do we do? Oh, we got to do some deep fakes. So it was interesting. Two of my favorite people are the two of the most deep faked ones.
Oh my goodness.
Because they were like, oh, no wonder. I was listening to them and saying, wow, they have a mature, balanced look at this whole thing. And they're deep faked.
Wow.
So
that's interesting.
You can't tell now.
Yeah. There'll be more and more of it.
Dishonestly manipulating the nature of the situation. So the very situation itself. You could have said, hey, Ed, push this guy down. Well, it wasn't quite honest. Some guy came at you with a bat. So by my omitting that, it wasn't really that honest.
Right.
I didn't really give you the situation.
Right.
Classic one. Everyone was just minding their own business when Russia decides to take over Ukraine completely unprovoked.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's this. What do you think we should do about Russia now?
Yeah.
So again, you're into the box of the question. You're being asked, how do you respond to this?
Right.
And the mature person would say, was it unprovoked?
Yeah.
Is that the masses? No, the sheeple will say, yeah, what should we do to Russia for doing that?
So we got all these people flying Ukraine flags.
Yeah.
They've never read, let alone a book. They've never read an article. They've never read a 5-minute article about the history of Russia or Ukraine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm taking Russia's side. I'm just saying they're going to fly a Ukrainian flag and they don't know anything about Russia or Ukraine.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think Russia's good, but a lot of times you got good, evil, and I'm saying, what if all three are evil?
Right.
How would that change the dynamics of the maturity of how I'm going to do it?
Or what if, so I'm thinking of Russia and Ukraine, what if one is the aggressor and the other one was a pawn, and the people who are telling us who to hate and who to love, what if they have an agenda?
Yeah.
Because that's what was really going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Russia was provoked. They shouldn't have gone into Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine has a right to be in Ukraine. They have a right to be a nation.
Yeah.
And we were lied to about why we went in there and what's actually going on.
Yes. Yeah. So propagandized for the situation.
Through and through.
Yeah, because if they told the reality of it, they'd actually say, ooh, Russia had a hard decision here because, wow, so in in 62 or 3, Russia brought some missiles over to Cuba, and we basically said unacceptable.
Yeah.
And yet we could string NATO countries with missiles all around them,
right?
And it's supposed to be for defense.
And
I'm like,
yeah. And Russia kept saying every single decade and every new president, please don't go this far.
Yeah.
Please don't go this far. 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 And then every single president goes that far until Russia's like, okay.
Yeah.
You
they
just
crossed the line. Yeah. And so that's a classic example of you're not really given the true scenario in which you're making your decisions. Yeah.
Well, there's bandwagoning.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it. Everyone's getting the shot. Why wouldn't you? Everyone else is getting it.
Wow. Bandwagoning. Yes.
Bandwagoning.
Wow, that's huge.
Right?
That's huge.
Well, in sports, the funny bandwagon are the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Everyone's a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be a Dallas Cowboy? Don't you like Dak Prescott? Don't you like Cowboys? Don't you like the South?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. But bandwagoning, that's just human nature. That goes back to sheeple.
Oh, it does.
We'll do the thing that our neighbor's doing because our neighbor's doing it. And
I'm
right?
listening to election polls. This many people are favoring this issue. Well, I don't care. I'm going to evaluate whether it's right or wrong, stupid or smart. Well, I don't care about numbers per se. If they want to show the direction of the vote, that's great. But it doesn't mean anything to me in that regard.
Right.
So I think, it's interesting you say bandwagoning. The flip of that is gaslighting.
Yeah.
So the bandwagoning is you need to jump on this
That's
because
good.
the majority, hey, you want to be on the majority. And
Yeah.
really most of the time, the majority is normal. The minority is kind of abnormal.
Aberrant. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the opposite would be the gaslighting, and that's say, do you realize it's kind of sketchy? You're in the minority right here.
Right.
And
why would you
the
trust
nature of
your
it.
judgment?
Yes.
Why would you trust your judgment on that? I have a great example of gaslighting that I came, again, it just popped up on my X feed today, and it says, how you know you're being played. And it has a picture of Greta Thunberg, 16 years old, not a scientist. She reads from a script. She gets 24/7 media coverage. Then there's Dr. Judith Curry, who is by academic training a climatologist. She's published over 140 scientific books and papers. She says it's a hoax and can get no media coverage.
Wow.
Right? That's
Yes.
probably an overlap of lots of them.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
Gaslighting,
Yes.
lens, twisting.
Let me put a definition. Psychological manipulation. This is of gaslighting. Psychological manipulation, seeking to make someone question their own reality, memory, or perceptions, with the goal to undermine the victim's confidence in his or her judgment.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of bandwagoning. Hey, either you join the crowd or you're fearing not being in the crowd because, wow, most people are pretty common sense.
Yeah.
So you're uncommon. You're in the minority. I doubt what you're seeing.
I went and I looked up where that term gaslighting came from. Apparently there was a play written in 1938 that was turned into a movie about how a husband tries to make his wife go insane. I actually don't know the plot.
Yeah.
But he tries to make her go insane by getting her to question her perspective.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that like he lowers the level of the light each time and says, no, it's not different or something like that?
Okay, probably.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you're having your own ability to think and process, not just be questioned, but that you yourself are insane.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Yes.
again, sorry, but it's just the
Wow.
perfect thing. I've said it on an earlier show. I remember feeling that way when I would get in my car to drive across town and I wouldn't have a mask on.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, is everybody looking at me? Will they look at me if I don't have a mask on?
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I'm the outlier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So as the outlier, I'm probably wrong. They're
Yeah.
probably all right.
Yes.
So I'm questioning my own perspective,
Wow.
my own sanity.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, it's hugely
Wow.
powerful.
Classic example is the Emperor's clothes. And the kid says he doesn't have any clothes
They're at
on.
a parade.
Yeah, they're at a parade. I
The
sometimes...
king rides by.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
yes.
setting
Sorry.
it
Yeah,
up for
let's pan
people.
it out. Yes. The king, the
Emperor.
emperor is told, this is a very, very special fabric that only wise or good people can see. And the king says, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. And so the tailors con him and he's naked, and then he's going down in a parade without any clothes. But he had to tell the tailors, yeah, I see the thread. Yeah, I'm one of the people that can see it, but because only really noble people can see it.
Right.
And everybody's not willing to admit it, and a boy cries out, "Hey, he's naked," and it spoils the whole thing.
Right.
I thought of a great example, and this is probably for a lot of industries and different things, is you've got a great modern artist, and he takes a huge, let's say a 10 by 10 canvas, buys 6 buckets of paint, and just splashes them on there. He's well known now, so he sells the thing for $50,000. They put it in the museum, and I'm looking at it, and I'm being uncouth like I am, say, this looks like something my 3-year-old would do.
Yeah.
And I would be reprimanded and shamed immediately.
Yes.
Mark, you know what the problem is? You just don't have really artistic taste.
You have no aesthetic understanding.
You just don't. You don't. You know?
Mark.
And they'd want me to back away. Well, sorry. I mean, shoot. What do I know? What do I know?
Oh, Mark, that brings a story of mine. A buddy and I went to a Christian art show. Was sponsored by I'm not going to give names because I'll have people have a heart attack who are listening. A super wealthy Christian couple in Orange County sponsors an art show of a super up-and-coming trendy artist. We get to go to this show in Irvine. Hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and people are all dressed up like they're going to meet, I don't know, Donald Trump, the president or something, right? And this artist has 10 or 12 paintings on display, and you can walk through this whole mini museum that the rich people had paid to be put up in their industrial building, turned into an art museum. And it's functionally art thrown onto a canvas and then given a title like Eden, Golgotha, contemplation, prayer. And I would walk from one massive painting to the other, and I'd go, Drek. And I got to where I was standing back watching people admire this slotch. And I'd think, what the HEQQ is going on that people find this mesmerizing? And I think it's because the artist was cool and trendy and getting magazine stories written about him.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be on the cool... They wanted to be with the cool, trendy art that was so cutting edge that a billionaire was paying to have displayed.
Yeah.
Right? When really it was, by all artistic standards, Drek. It was slotch.
Wow.
So your emperor has no clothes / contemporary artist who's vogue and trendy. Oh, it's a horror show.
Well, you've got levels. You've got one level of actually COVID where people were conned. The next level, if you're in the parade and say the emperor doesn't have clothes and they whisk you off to prison, or you lose your job.
Yeah.
And so you've got two different things,
Yeah.
almost like the mafia.
Yeah.
Hey, if you do this thing underhanded, we'll give you $10,000. But if you don't, we'll kill you. So you got an incentive both directions.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the parade today. You've got an incentive. You have a temptation to be conned, but you also have a struggle of saying, if I'm a doctor and think this COVID thing's a scam, I'm going to lose my job possibly. Right. And so I really do think you have a lot of people conned, and you have a lot of people. It shows the muscle that they have and how orchestrated the mafia is on that.
And
whole
I
thing.
just remember my wife was working for a big company at the time, and so she had other employees reporting to her who would call her up sobbing because they didn't want to lose their job for not getting the shot.
Wow.
It was vax or lose your home.
Wow.
And It was just excruciating.
Wow.
It was just
That'd be horrible.
excruciating that people had to make those decisions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that'd be hard.
Oh.
That'd be hard.
Oh, my goodness. Here's one, fearmongering.
Oh, boy,
Which
that's
probably
a big...
goes to what we were just talking about, but I'm
Yes.
just looking at my list. If we don't all do this, the planet will die by 2030.
Yeah.
Well, first off, we're never going to have the capacity to all do that by 2030.
Yeah.
So what's the uptake? Even if
Yeah.
the whole planet shut down all industry and effort of enterprise of every kind, and all of 7 billion of us said all we're going to do for the next 12 years is that,
Yeah.
and it wasn't going to change anything. So what's the uptake?
Yeah.
And I grew to believe, well, the uptake of fear-mongering is not even to get us to adjust our behavior or our lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's to have us give them complete and total power over our lives.
Yes.
Because if there's finally no way to do that, then what do they want?
Yeah.
Power.
Power. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's two ways. It's hard for a government to simply try to remove liberty, at least directly, politically, and in our nation. I do think the two options that are available that they're going to be continuing to use and attempt, you've got to have something bigger than your selfish individual liberty.
Yeah.
You need to save the planet, and you need to save the population. So you need a bio, and you need global warming. Now, of course, change to climate.
Because they both go to something huge.
They're huge. And now you've got the sheeple enforcing it for you out of fear, out of shaming, saying, you're going to kill grandma, you're going to kill my grandma, you're going to kill my kids, you're going to kill the planet.
Right.
Get on board here.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we're done with the global warming. I don't care if there's 1,000 scientists to say no. They need that one because it's bigger than individual liberty. And the bio was wildly successful.
Yeah.
They're going to use that again.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, on the same vein, I agree with you about climate change and bioweaponization.
Yeah.
I don't think progressivism is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are sort of tempered right now because they don't have all the levers of power.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it's gone away. I think for example, if the universities would lose money for doing DEI,
Yeah.
they just renamed their offices.
Mm-hmm.
And when they have our opportunity, they're going to come back with a vengeance. I really believe that election in New York City, and now he's been mayor a couple weeks, I think we're going to see the fruit of that manifest fairly quickly. And I think it's going to show that progressivism is alive and well and thriving.
Wow. Yes. You think, wow, the people have woke up and you realize, no, they didn't.
No.
Something made them mad.
No.
Where they've lost jobs or money, but the concept they never got.
Well, we were down south with you because a couple years ago, Tanya and I went and spent a month with Mark and Christine down in the nether reaches of Southern California and Arizona and Nevada down there, Needles. And at the time, I was reading The Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn. And one of the horror shows of me of that book was that the people never did wake up. So to your point, will a bioweaponization wake us up? Will the extinction of the planet being held over our heads finally cause people to be red-pilled? Will the shutting down of the church across Europe through Islam wake up? Actually, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, really.
Wow.
I don't know that there are things that will finally red pill people.
Yeah.
Other than the gospel of Christ, I don't know what will finally red pill people.
Yeah. No, I think that's accurate. It's sad, but accurate. I think sometimes there's no exit off the circle. If once you get the people to look to the government as the solution, the government can create a problem, and the sheep will, what is their reaction? Hey, what's the government going to do to fix that? And now they own them.
Yeah.
They own them because they can create the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody gets mad. Hey, everything's falling apart. What are you guys going to do to fix it? So it simply goes in a cycle and continues
even as
forever.
you say that, I don't remember meeting or hearing one person in the media who was angry at a Chinese wet market.
Yeah.
Remember, we were told it came out of a Chinese wet market.
Yeah.
Where they were selling bats or pangolins.
Yeah.
And I don't remember one person being angry at a Chinese wet market.
You're right. It was just needed long enough for a distraction excuse.
Yeah.
Not enough to really permeate.
No. The premise was accepted, and now we're all going to get in line with whatever the government's telling us to do.
Wow. Yeah.
That's so weird. What's a couple other ones?
I've got one. I'm just going to call it normalization. Men and women's restrooms in sports. Kids having gender change operations. Guy, this is normal. What's wrong with you? You can't figure that out, okay? No, it's abnormal, and I'm the normal one. But it's the type of gaslighting, though.
Yeah.
Do you realize that this is normal because everybody thinks they're not getting upset anymore?
Right.
And you're all upset, or you think it's bad. I'm looking at, I live in a very sick society. I live in a predatory society that's focused mainly on greed-based rather than love-based.
Yes.
And it's not my imagination.
Right.
I'm normal. And that's not normal, and it's appalling, and people should think it's appalling.
That's so good, Mark.
I'm out on the pasture. And so now I use another analogy, not of the sheeple, but of sheep themselves. I'm out on the pasture, and I see a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's getting tired. It's getting really hot on that sheep's clothing, so he just throws the sheep's clothing off. And he walks around as a wolf, and he eats one of the sheep. And all the other sheep look up and see it being eaten, and then go back to eating.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, is this all right with everyone? Is there an emergency here now? And I think, is there something wrong with me? Because I'm kind of upset right now.
Well, I'll tell you where it gets Christianized.
Yeah.
The thing that you said got Christianized.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that it happened was, and it's actually consistent. The part of the church that believes evil is a construction, they've accepted that neo-Marxist grid, that evil is just a construction for power, right?
Yeah.
When it broke, their response was like, no one could be that evil. You're horrible to imply that they're just being evil. It's impossible. People aren't evil like that. You need to give the benefit of the doubt. You need to be charitable. Well, you need to be like Jesus.
Yes.
And not assume evil, because that's evil to assume evil.
Wow.
Right? And it got Christianized
Yeah.
to where you were the bad guy to think that there was actually someone getting over on you.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Wow.
So the wolf was eating, and you're like watching people's carotid arteries being bitten through.
Yes.
And the blood spurting out of their neck, and you're having this visceral reaction, and other people are like, no, wolves would never do that.
Yeah.
Wolves would never do that to sheep.
Wow.
So weird.
Wow. That's
so
good.
weird to watch.
No, that's a good metaphor analogy, because it's like it's the gaslighting. Is this normal? Because nobody seems to be all that upset, I'll go into Walmart, and boy, they've got those stands of I think there was 4th of July, and they've got red, white, and blue icing on these old-fashioned donuts. I am not against all junk food,
Right.
I simply say, don't live on it. Just don't live on it.
Right.
You know, if I have a birthday, I have a great big birthday cake and
Yeah.
party, but I'll look at them to show my wife and say, look at this. I think this is the record for the longest list of ingredients. You know, there's like 60 ingredients in it.
30
This stuff
of
is
them
poisonous.
You can't pronounce.
And then we'll go to the front, and there'll be somebody with a couple kids, and they're bouncing around, just high energy. They're probably on a ton of sugar. And I'll look in the card, and it's real sad because it's like, oh my gosh, this person, it's okay. And it would be very easy to say, wait a minute, it can't be that bad because they put it out for sale.
Yeah.
And everyone's buying it. So I think I'm overacting, you know? And then I'll look at the ingredients and saying, hey, this is fine for a birthday or whatever. If they're eating this every day, they're killing themselves.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to just say, I guess I'm overreacting because the store surely wouldn't sell it if it's poisonous.
That's such a good point. Yeah, no, the store would never do. It's funny you say that because ever since I was a kid, when I'm at the checkout watching people check out, I am more often than not, I will be touched and I will feel bad. And I'll be like, is this person's last dollar? And they've got 2 fruit pies and a Cool Whip in their basket. And I'm thinking, or there'll be a guy and he's got 2/5 of whiskey or whatever. And then I'll look and I'll go, oh my gosh, is this how this guy's weekend's going to play out? It's so terrible. Why? I don't know why I do that, but I'll feel such sorrow at the checkout stand.
You're like, he's got a tough life. Look at how much sugar he's got. He must have a really tough life because he needs a sugar high.
His kids must hate him. He's got 20 Snickers bars and a box of ding dongs.
Yes,
that's his weekend, right? Poor guy, I feel horrible for him. He needs Jesus.
Oh gosh, it is so easy to look around and let everyone else say to you, should you be alarmed or not? Should you be concerned or not? Should you be diligent or not?
Yeah.
And I'm like, boy, you look around and you say, gosh, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do that because I've been gaslit and everything's normal. Everything's fine. Do you have another one?
No, but I was just going to say as we wrap it up, this is a good place where a couple shows ago we talked about suspending judgment.
Yeah.
Where when you're bombarded by something or when the culture's temperature shifts overnight, which is increasingly frequent, that you suspend judgment and go, okay, wait a minute. Let me stop and assess for a few days. Let me stop and assess for a few weeks before I throw in, before I give assent, before I agree, before I judge. Let me just say, I'm stepping back for a minute.
That's good. I like that.
I got to find someone to think through this with me, right? Talk about things that matter with
people that care.
I
like that.
Because I don't want to I don't want to be a sheep, but I don't want to have my faith destroyed. I don't want to have my economic situation at home destroyed, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
I'm just not going to throw in with the mob right now.
That's good. Suspend judgment. Listen to a number of sides. Listen to nuance. I like that.
Yeah. This is a blast, Mark.
Yeah.
It's fun to work through these different categories and think of individual examples of it because, again, the last 10 years are just both Orwell and Brave New World.
Yeah.
Who wrote Brave New World? Hey, my listener, we'll return to the discussion in just a minute, but I would love to have your company as a corporate sponsor. My individual Patreon supporters are my show's bread and butter. Thanks to all of you who for over 8 years now have made this show go. But corporate sponsors, they allow me to do things advertising chiefly, but they can also help me update my equipment too. They help me do things that I can't do on my own. Contact me at uncensoredunprofessor@gmail.com. Let's talk together about your becoming a corporate sponsor. And to that end, there are reliable first-rate ways to do things, and then there are paste and glue, sloppy patchwork ways of doing things. And the paste and glue temporary fixes always in the end cost more money. They take more time from us later. So if you live in Southern California, do it right the first time. When it comes to your roofing problems, call Gallerini Roofing. Their phone number is 714-244-6567. Gallerini Roofing does residential, commercial. They're bonded, licensed, insured. They have decades worth of experience. Gallerini knows how to do the job with excellence and professionalism, so give them a ring at 714-244-6567. Get your roofing job done right. Gallerini Roofing, a proud sponsor of the Uncensored Unprofessor. Sheesh, I got the book over there on my shelf. They were both prophets.
Yes.
They both saw it coming, and I wish they were alive so they could see that their books are what it means to be alive every day right now.
Yes, really.
Just the craziest thing. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you coming on the show.
That's
you
been
guys,
fun.
Thanks for listening and thinking with us. God bless you, and until next week, go and turn on your brains, everybody.